it like rocket fuel.
Yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah, whole squad like, what? In the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, what? Whole squad like, yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah, whole squad like, yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah. You don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want problems. Yeah, you don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want problems. Yeah, you don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want problems. No, I say you don't want problems, you don't want smoke, dog. You don't want. Call us dangerous. Ain't too many can play with us. See where this game here taking us. No barber, ain't no fading us. I ain't really saying much. Actions be louder than words, man. I just wanna be heard for your mom to your pop to the bees to the birds, man. Cut right off on the curb like I'm Barry Sanders. Chains on and the diamonds dancing. Game on, so it's time to go. When the rain starts, I'ma let you know. Name a squad that is better though than my home team. We a pot of gold. I'm a dog. I'ma need a bone for my whole team. I'ma let it go like blah. Yeah, in the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, yeah, whole squad like, what? In the field like, yeah, all day like, yeah, all night like, what? Whole squad like, yeah, in the field like, yeah.
It is loud and it is wet here, Coach, as we welcome you inside CenturyLink Field on a patented rainy afternoon in Seattle, Washington. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Tennessee Titans and the Seattle Seahawks.
Ready up. Mike 57. Check. 49. Get ready.
They'll run on first down. Dobbins. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
Double dog. That's the way.
Here's 2nd and 8. They'll roll him out right. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Let's see here, Charles. He was sacked 6 times last week. Now a first quarter sack. What's going on in his mind?
Well, he's thinking to himself, 5 offensive linemen. I got sacked 6 times last week. Let's start thinking about keeping extra people in. Tight end stays in. If I have a fullback or the running back, they stay in and help me block. Maybe not as many receivers in a pattern. Anything to try and slow down that pass rush.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Going to throw right side here, complete. And he's going to come up a bit short. He needed to get to the 35 for the first, but he only makes it to the 34. So on 4th down, here's Johnny Townsend to punt it. Back deep is Tavon Austin. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. And this one will be touchdown inside the 40-yard line. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. A first carry now. This is Alvin Kamara. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. That one good for 14 and a Seahawk first.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, there'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to place.
End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. A big play there. His first touchdown on the year as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. An ideal start for them, really. You force the punt, and then you go down and score.
And you've got to see a fist pump on the sideline from the head coach, don't you? Because he's turned into his bench, and he's telling his team, this is how we prepare. Force the punt, go downfield and score. I told you guys, it's just like a boxer in the gym preparing for the fight. Now we get to turn it all loose.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And a 3-and-out on that first drive. We'll see if they can do better here.
They should have a better opportunity because the nerves should be settled now. That first series, everybody goes out with a little extra emotion. So now they get a chance to go back out and say, okay, now we're into the game. Let's go play and play as best we can.
You almost get a mulligan then on that first drive?
Sometimes it absolutely serves that way. You get a second opportunity. Nothing big happened. But then again, you didn't commit any mistakes either. Off you go.
So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. First down, Titans, gain of 12. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week.
And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Credit the sack to Shaquem Griffin.
Hindsight is 20/20, partner. Maybe they should have kept it on the ground again.
Well, it almost looked like the O-line was run blocking again. I mean, they opened up a big hole last time. This time they opened up a hole, and the quarterback got sacked. Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17.
Hey, Steve 6. Get.
Looking to throw. Herbert. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training. So he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positive moving forward.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It's a gain of 12, first down Seahawks.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and putting the defense back on its heels.
Let's go, defense.
Staying on the ground on first with Kamara. They'll get only a couple down to the 44.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day.
Hey, easy.
And he's going to get this inside the 30. First down, Seattle, 16 yards the gain there.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
So after the run by Kamara, now another 1st and 10. Now it's Wilson. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. It's a loss of 4 on the first down play.
They threw the screen to the perimeter, but to no benefit at all. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of yardage.
So they had the big loss on that first down pass play and facing a 2nd and long. They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
One thing I have learned, receivers don't mind high throws so much to the sideline, but do that over the middle to them, and not only are the DBs going to throw a little verbal trash their way, when they get back to the huddle, they're going to have a few words to say to their QB, aren't they?
Yeah, hung out to dry a little bit there on the high throw. Luckily fell incomplete. 3rd and long, it's Wilson. And this one hauled in by Tavon Austin. And he'll get this to the 23, but that'll be well short of what he needed. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down. So on 4th down, Ron Rivera sends out the field goal unit. This a 40-yard attempt from the left hash. And his kick is right there. It's good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. They find themselves down 10-0 early after the interception on their opening drive led to a field goal.
So now they've got to pick up the mantle a little bit. You mentioned the team's down 10. They've helped contribute to that. How are they going to get their team back into this ball game? Run the offense that you think is going to be effective and execute it at a high level.
That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11. 2nd and 11. And his throw is going to be incomplete. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Operating from the gun, Herbert. And a throw there going to be incomplete. Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. Here's Austin. 10-0 to score after 1 on EA Sports. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have. And think back to our meeting with the head coach. And we asked him because we saw the forecast for this game, didn't we? We said, hey, have you prepared for this? And he talked about the different drills that they've done in adverse conditions, the wet ball drills, things of that nature. He said, I don't think it's going to slow us down much. We tend to handle it pretty well, and he's been right.
On 2nd down, Kamara. And able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41.
Watching that play unfold and watching him complete it brought back memories of doing all those pursuit drills to make sure you don't over-pursue and let a guy get a cutback lane on you. He did that very well.
You praised him on tape yesterday for the angles that he takes to the ball. Took a great angle right there. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. DK Metcalf. His second touchdown on the season. And the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes our score 17-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This will be taken in at the 1. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line.
Let's go.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
Want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
There's the former Heisman winner. It's Derrick Henry. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Brings up 2nd and 5 on the Seahawks 49-yard line.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5.
Recon, 132 fighter.
2nd and 5. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Jadeveon Clowney, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress.
I think there's still a long way to go.
So don't say nothing. 58, right over there, right over there. Yeah.
To throw on third down. Herbert, and that will be incomplete. Problems on third down so far in this first half. Relatively small sample size, but they're now 0 for 3.
And the average in the league, somewhere around 40% on third down for offenses. So what's the answer to this? Either convert them or don't get to third down in the first place. Get your big chunks of yards on first and second down.
And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. They have to be pleased with the way that they've moved the football thus far.
And why wouldn't they be? 2 touchdowns on a field goal in their first 3 possessions. They're playing so well right now, the field goal probably feels like a disappointment.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. To throw is Wilson. Looking left side, he's got it, complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 12, first down Seahawks.
First and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Man, I got you.
Running with Kamara. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Another scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Now a pass hauled in downfield. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Making a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now. Here the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. extra point splits the uprights, and a rout is on here in this first half. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go.
At their own 25-yard line.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
We get slap happy up here sometimes. The escapability in evidence there is that one good for 15 and a first. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. From the gun, Herbert. And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line. Charles, not to point fingers, but how much of this goes on the shoulders of the offensive line? I mean, look at the 6 sacks last week. That's the 4th in this game.
Definitely the bulk of it does go on the offensive line. That's what they're tasked with doing, keeping their quarterback upright and clean in the pocket. But I think they have to look at, okay, are we bringing in extra people? Is the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick enough? There are a few other factors they have to look at to try and help out. But you're exactly right. It starts with the O-line.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
You got nothing.
Operating from the gun, Herbert. Complete. Smith has it. They do get 9, but it leads to 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback.
At their own 20-yard line.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation, either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
It's a pickup at 6.
So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you cross-country to Orlando, Jonathan Coachman is there and has our EA Sports halftime report. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. They stay on the ground. This time it's Kamara. They'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Mike 5-4. Let's go deep, tighten up. Let's go deep, tighten up.
From the gun on 3rd down, Wilson going for Metcalf, and that's caught inside the 35. And he gets all the way down to the 30-yard line. So with a big gainer anyways, he'll go ahead and take that instead of the pass interference call.
They didn't need the penalty. It would have been different, right, if they had somehow lost some yardage somewhere, but they did not. Gained all they could, down to the spot of the foul. Nothing to be gained by taking the penalty.
So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10. Following the penalty, it's Kamara. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. Different story this time around. We had that huge gain followed by a sizable loss here.
Mike, 280. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
On 2nd down now, it's Armstrong. They get 14 back, but it leads now to a 3rd down. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance and guessing, because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
And he gets this down to the 18, good enough for a 1st down. 3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving.
Watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screen.
A 10th carry for Kamara. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. On 2nd and 9, Wilson. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Well, let's see who this is on. They've done a good job on these receivers, pretty much held them in check. They're a little too close for comfort.
And you're always looking for a play to get you going, right? You're looking for someone to make one. But maybe this penalty, this pass interference call, that can help shake them loose.
They're gonna need some therapy after this. Hey, we got right. We got right. Hey, tighten down.
On the ground, this is Kamara. And he stopped immediately there. A tackle that time by Akello Witherspoon. If this defense wants to stay in this ballgame, they've got to start ending some drives. That helps.
And they have to look ahead at what they expect the offense to do. And right now with that lead, that's run the football. So you don't just stack the line of scrimmage. You have to get upfield and try and make some plays in their backfield.
Watch the run.
And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
Check out.
This time Wilson will throw. Being chased out left. He can run for it, and he's going to score. It's a Seahawk touchdown. Scampering home from 19 yards out as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Well, the defensive coverage was good, so good he just decided to make a play of his own, and it worked out.
Yeah, you often wonder if they think to themselves, was the coverage too good to allow him to run the football? I think you'd rather take your chances with him doing exactly that, and he beat him on that play all the way to the end zone.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Looking to throw on second down. Herbert. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. It's a gain of 35. Now, look, you're not going to be able to get this all back at once, but that certainly helps.
So you're saying 3 yards in a cloud of dust, not the strategy?
I go aerial attack.
Yeah, I think that's what has to happen. And if you're going to run it, you need to break off big chunks. We just saw a big play right there. They need plenty of those.
And it'll be intercepted. Trey Flowers picks it. And he'll go down inside the 15 at his own 13-yard line.
Okay, partner. No surprise to you. I'm going to look at this from the defensive perspective. In the rain, you have to be more cautious trying to cover passing routes. Why? The offense knows where they're going with the football. The receiver knows the route he's going to run. You have to make sure you keep your footing underneath you.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Yeah, still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Push them back. Push them back. Kill.
He's got a first down past the 30. Tavon Austin, he's going to go. The 20, 10, and all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. Tavon Austin, 85 yards as his guys continue to pour it on.
Partner, you know the real key is to stopping a good passing attack?
You tell me.
Being able to tackle as soon as a guy catches the football.
Didn't work out there.
No, because when you give up the big run after catch, the rack yardage, that puts your defense in a big-time stressful position.
A lot of rack yardage and a touchdown there on the big play. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25.
At their own 26-yard line.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part two, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Once again, they'll come up on the 26-yard line, 2nd and 10. To throw again. Herbert. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Shaquille Griffin with a pick.
Intercepted. The Seahawks take over 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line.
380.
55. Hey, eat. Strip the ball.
Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. The last run got 6. Now 2nd and 4.
I'm going to run you over.
Again, it's Kamara. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
It's now 3rd and 4.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. They've been near perfect, 4 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 4. Now they'll run it with Scarborough. And he got blown up, losing yardage on the play back at the 44. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th. When this offense gathers to watch the tape, they're going to like a lot of what they saw. They put up big numbers, but they might fast forward through that last play.
Oh, there won't be any fast forwarding, partner. I've sat in those sessions before. You end up spending more time on the bad plays than you do on the good ones. It's just the nature of coaches. But I know sitting in that room, when you've had a big game, the night that they've had, you don't want to hear that. You just want to focus on the good stuff.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
Mike, 54. Hey,
On 1st down, it's Brooks. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
10 logo.
Mike, 54.
To throw on 2nd down. Herbert, blitz coming, and down he goes.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
The Titans on 3rd down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 16. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now Austin. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10.
At their own 42-yard line.
Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. With this lead and the football, things obviously looking good, but maybe, you've taught me this before, maybe this is where the defense is hoping that the offense helps them preserve that shutout that they've got going.
And it has to be in the minds of the offense that they know how rare it is to get a shutout. So take care of them, protect them, take care of the ball, move it downfield, run the clock down. You don't want your defense to have to go on the field again the rest of the game. Reward them.
A man who's been busy this afternoon, it's Kamara again. Room to run past midfield. And all the way down to the 33-yard line. A gain of 28 yards there and give him a 1st down.
And having built that kind of a lead, they're able to do whatever they want right now. All momentum on their side, especially now running the football.
Yeah, you're talking about a defense being on their toes. They don't know what's going to hit them next at this point.
No, they went from toes to heels, and they're trying to figure out how to get back to the toes part.
I'll go special. I'll go special.
Check safety, check safety.
They run. This is Scarborough. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they won't put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
And he'll get about 3 as he's brought down to the 28.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. On 3rd down, it's Armstrong. And this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And his kick is indeed good. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. So a good kick there to polish off the drive with 3 points.
Yeah, coaches always talk about finishing a drive with a kick. 2 of them give you points, either an extra point or, in this case, a field goal.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point.
That's all that's left because victory, not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now. And if they call plays they want executed, they need to do that and do it really well. Otherwise, there could be repercussions.
We'll see how they handle the waning moments of this one. Eluded, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Back to throw. Herbert got his man complete over the middle. It's Schwartz. The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with 65 seconds remaining.
Ready? 60 or
Right there. You got double up.
Off the play fake. Herbert. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same Surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
And now he's going to use his legs. And he fumbled it. It's on the ground. And the Seahawks have picked it up. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line.
Well, partner, I think it's safe to say they can mark this down as extremely frustrating. Here we are in the 4th quarter, and that last play, that turnover, I think it epitomizes what happened to them all day on offense.
So symbolic, and that's why they're still being shut out. The defense can stop it twice more as they take a knee here.
Green 80!
Hey, defense, let's go. Pick it up, D.
The defense can stop it twice more as they take a knee here. So the victory here for Seattle. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense, through the shutout, Adam, I think they worked in concert.